If you can only see what I see, you wouldn't walk around like that. If you can only hear you speak, your eyes would never leave the ground. Hello boys, mommy's home. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you don't know me, my name is Felipa. I'm a singer-songwriter and the owner of Saint Ada Cafe. So at the end of the video, when you're done watching this video, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. Well, it's called X now. Elon Musk. Okay. They've called Twitter X. I said, okay, no problem. We collect X. So please join me on X, /Twitter. Join me on Instagram. Join me on Facebook. Join me on everything joinable. Just join me there. All right. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you guys are doing great. I know it's kind of hard because realistically, I know a lot of us are going through like a lot of shit right now, especially with the economy, especially like financially, especially with just like life in general, you know? If you're not a part of the 1% or the 0.1% or the 0.001%, then you know this video is for you. But if you're part of the 1%, the 0.1%, the 0.01%, yeah, you can skip on. Unless you want to give me money. Auntie, I don't mind though. Please dash me some money. You want a sponsor? Okay, let's be serious. So, as the video title says, we are going to be talking about unemployment and life with unemployment, and you know, solutions, like the financial situation that is going on in the country right now, even around the world, not just in America, but even in Nigeria as well. So it's like, I really wanted to sit down and talk today because I feel like I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience. Let me be honest with you. Some of you may already know that there was a time where I was homeless for a long time. So I've been exposed to like a lot of realities and a lot of like, you know, resources and a lot of ways that you can go ahead and navigate certain things in your life. So I thought it would be okay for me to come on here, share it with you, make you know that you are not alone. If you're watching this video, you're not the only one, which is very important, because me, in my head, anytime something would happen to me, I would think that I was the only one, because why the fuck is life punishing me? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you realize that there's a bigger picture and you are a part of that bigger picture, you start to feel like, okay, maybe it's not me personally. You stop blaming yourself for what is happening to you when really that's life happening, okay? So let's talk about unemployment, right? So unemployment, definition right here, okay? So basically, when you not get work until nobody they pay you, they not employ you, therefore you are unemployed. You understand? Straight to the point. The opposite of employed is unemployed. So if you've been laid off, if you've been fired, if you quit your job for whatever reason it may be, maybe you had sickness or you had an injury or whatever it may be, whatever reason you got, you know, unemployed, you're unemployed now. So why am I the person to talk about this situation? Let's just start from there. So just to give you guys a little bit context on like my life and what I've been through in like most recent years. Okay, especially when the pandemic hit and nobody could go to work at all. Jesus, who remembers the pandemic? It feels like so long ago, but not too long ago. Like everything was shut down, including restaurants and stuff like that, you know, and people were getting laid off of their work. So when the pandemic actually lifted, I was able to find work, right, at a Jamaican restaurant. Some of you already know that. So I found work at a Jamaican restaurant for like a while. And then it wasn't until, I think I worked there for like a couple of years, almost 2 years basically. So yeah, I started working there by the end of, I started working there almost by the end of 2020. At least when things started to lift up a little bit and they said, okay, you guys can come back to work. I was like, okay, cool. And at that time I was working like 7 days a week, non-stop, back to back. You know why? Because a bitch was trying to get her apartment, I didn't give a damn. If it actually, let me not lie, it was 6 days a week. I was working 6 days a week. The only reason I was not working 7 days a week is because the whole building closed. If 7 days were open, hey, Galski would have been on it. If you know, you know. All right. So basically, I was working at the Jamaican restaurant for like a while, and then last year I got laid off because the job was literally closing down. Like there wasn't enough like business to keep the restaurant going, right? So I got laid off because of that, and yeah, so I had to look for work, right? And just like everybody else, when you get laid off, people don't understand. Losing your job in of itself is very traumatizing, but people don't like acknowledge it like that, because do you really have time to acknowledge the trauma of losing your job and literally almost risking everything? Like, come on now. It's like so much to deal with, but at the end of the day, you have bills to pay. You have car insurance to pay. You have a car notes to pay. You have a rent to pay. You have a phone bill to pay. Basically, you have to pay for living and existing, right? So you don't really have time to actually address the trauma of losing a job, which I can understand because I've been through it. So basically, last year, what really happened? Oof, last year was crazy. Not only did I like go through like a lot, I went through like a whole heartbreaking shit, and then just looking for work. And believe it or not, the reason why I'm even one of the best persons to even talk about this is because last year I literally changed jobs like 5 times. Yep, 5 times. Like when I tell you that I was looking for work, I was looking for like restaurant work. So what was available? Like I've literally made a career in the restaurant industry of being like, you know, dependable, reliable, and I've worked literally every position in the restaurant industry, from cashier, dishwasher, line cook, busser, all the way to manager. I've worked every single position in the restaurant, in the kitchen, right? So I've literally made a career out of this, right? So basically, the first restaurant I went to work at was a Nigerian restaurant, but we're not going to talk about that because I'm banned. Anyway. Okay, so I was working at this Nigerian restaurant for like a long time in LA. I'm not gonna say the Nigerian restaurant because we're not giving nobody clout. This was the same time I was making my music center. That, by the way, if you have not streamed center, that what are we doing, mama? What are we doing? Don't worry. After this video, go and stream Sentada. Don't worry, I'll forgive you. And then come back to the comment section and tell me what's up. Tell me what you think. Okay. So basically, it was a couple of months, but then I left because the job was just like, the environment was not conducive. On top of that, I live in like, well, I'm not going to tell you where I live. Pooh, I almost slipped up. Bitch, don't do that. But basically, I live 30 to 48 minutes, depending on traffic, from my job, right? And then I had to take the bus. So it was so stressful to travel back and forth. And I would travel in the morning, and then at night I would take an Uber, which was very expensive. That was like at least $30. Jesus, I was spending $30 on Uber. I see niggas were not needing that $30. But okay, I would take Uber at night, which the money was starting to eat into my check too. All them Uber rides and all of that, right? But the environment became so unconducive. Before I left that job, which is something I would advise people, if you don't like the job that you're doing, thug it out until you have another job opportunity that is guaranteed, that you can literally move in from this side to this side, okay? Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of companies and a lot of owners like to, oh, you should be loyal to us. Oh, you should always, show your loyalty and stay with us. You don't want to pay me the amount that I need to be paid, yet you want to add extra work on top of the headache and the, what's the English? Unconducive, one of the two. If I find it, I'll put it on inconducive environment of work. You now want to add extra work because you know I'm really good. I'm like, bro, we're not doing that, okay? We literally not doing that. But anyway, before I left that work, I got another job at a pizza shop ready, right? Okay, so when I got this job secured, I literally told her like, yo, I'm not coming back the next day, right? And I guess a lot of companies, what is it with these restaurants and all of these companies? As an employee, you have the right to quit that same day, right? But because I quit so abruptly without giving a 2 week, no, Shorty wanted a 4 weeks notice. She wanted 4 months, no, 4 weeks, a whole month for me to stay so that they can find a replacement before I go. And I'm not doing that, because at the end of the day, a lot of these jobs, when they want to fire you, when they want to lay you off, when they want to, they want to save their profits, they are not thinking about you, which is something that you need to remember. A lot of these jobs, when they fire you, it's on the spot. When they lay you off, it's on the spot. But all of a sudden, if I want to quit the job, I need to give you, the company, 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks notice, so you can find a replacement. How does that help me? You know what I mean? So basically, I quit on the spot, and lo and behold, she said, "You're banned from ever coming here." Okay, that's one incident of me being punished for quitting on the spot. So just remember, you have the right as an individual, as an employee, as a grown-ass adult, to quit your job in that moment if it is not serving you right. And if that's what you did, you are justified. You are valid for doing that. You don't deserve mistreatment. You don't deserve manipulation. You don't deserve people treating you any kind of way just because you're trying to work. If you don't feel like the environment is healthy enough for you to be, at your best, at your most productive, if the environment is not conducive enough for you to work in, and you want to quit that very day, fuck it, quit. Okay? But here's the thing though. Make sure you have another job lined up. So, which is what I did. I started working at this pizza shop. I got this job lined up. I quit. I got banned from there. So I moved all the way to this other job, which was like maybe 13 minutes by bus away from me. So basically, I moved to this pizza shop, and then it was a cashier job. Well, a cashier and a server job. But basically, if you worked in the restaurant industry, you know that when you get hired for one position, you end up doing a lot of things. So even if you're a cashier, you end up serving, or you end up cooking, or you end up doing this, or you end up waiting, which was I already knew this about working in the restaurant industry, right? So when I moved to this pizza shop, even though I was a cashier, I ended up making a lot of the pizzas, right? I ended up waiting like a big party of people, and I was the only waiter. Jesus, I'm talking a party of like 30 plus people, and I was the only waiter taking all their orders, serving their drinks, because they were short-staffed. They were a new restaurant, right? And with new restaurants, you want to be careful about how you want to spend the money. It's slow at the beginning. Every business, it starts off slow, right? So basically, not to give them an excuse for putting so much work on me, but the truth is, at the end, I could handle the work, right? Because I was looking for something consistent. And this job promised me full-time work at $17 per hour. Now, in LA, you could do better, right? But I was like, you know what, fuck it. If this job is available, I'm going to do that, right? So I was working there. The problem now started when they started cutting my hours. So I would be working like 5 days a week, like maybe 4 to 6 hours per day. And then it started going from 4 hours to 3 hours. And then it started going from 5 days a week to 4 days a week to 3 days a week to 2 days a week. They even transferred me to another location, which honestly, I did not like the manager at all. I was being so professional, but he was so fucking weird to me. Honestly, I did not like the manager whatsoever. And he was just, ugh. Anyway, let's not even talk about that one, right? But basically, they started cutting my hours so much to the extent that I'm not even working full-time. I'm barely working part-time. They gave me 1 day to come in. I'm like, bro, that's not going to do it for me, right? So now I'm looking for another job. I'm looking for a whole nother job. And basically, in the search for a whole nother job, I had applied to 2 other jobs. One was called a bakery, which honestly, do not go to that bakery. Those people are evil. But that's the second. Let me finish. Okay. Let me not be jumping the story and confusing people, okay? Let me just finish one by one. So after the cashier situation at the pizza shop, losing hours, I started looking for work immediately. As I'm looking for work, my co-worker recommended this bakery next to, or this cupcake shop next to the building, right? So I applied there. as I applied, I got the job, right? Rightfully so, because I have the qualifications to work in a restaurant. What the fuck do you mean? Duh. So me personally, when it comes to this restaurant industry, I've done it so much. And like I said in the beginning, I've made this into a career. I'm so confident, as you can tell. Like, this is my shit. Customer service, yeah, I know how that shit go. So basically, I started working at this restaurant, right? But that wasn't enough because I started working at this bakery. But that wasn't enough because it was only part-time. And baby, I'm a big woman, okay? Big woman. I have bills to pay. I don't have a boyfriend, I don't have a husband, I don't have anybody that is sending me money from a secret island that will just transfer me. Everything is on me. Okay, so all of this that I've built, I'm the one in charge of maintaining everything, right? So obviously I was going to do the bakery shop as part-time as I look for full-time work, right? As I'm looking for full-time work, I come across basically chicken shop. We're gonna call it a chicken shop. And I was just applying. I was doing the onboarding process. I was doing all of the documents, do this, do that, blah, 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 give them my ID, all of that, right? None of them knew that I had this going on, right? Because when I was working part-time at the bakery, I literally went to do the interview, went to do the onboarding process. So again, like I said, if you are trying to leave a job and you don't have any financial support that can help you before you find another job, I suggest you thug it out till you get a second job secured. That way you can just transition. Because I tried that shit of, you know, quitting a job and then looking for work. It's like, bro, that is too time consuming, right? So basically, as I've secured this job as a manager at this chicken shop, right? Then I quit the other jobs, basically. Oh God, I should make a whole story time. Don't worry, I'll make a story time, right? About this bakery and how literally they came to my new job at the chicken shop trying to fight me in the middle of the night in front of the security, and they were threatening me, doing this, doing that. They literally held my money for 2 weeks, which is illegal in California, right? But I'll make another story time about that. So basically, I got into this chicken shop as the manager. I left all those jobs, and I started working full-time, right? And it was a decent pay. It was the highest I was getting paid per hour, you know what I mean? So I started working there, and then literally I was working there since maybe maybe August of last year all the way to January of this year, right? And the reason I got laid off was because one of the chicken spots branches literally closed down, right? And again, a lot of the time when people become unemployed, sometimes it really is no fault of your own. Which was a situation like this. It really is no fault of your own. It's like, bro, things happen, and then you know how these companies are, out immediately, right? So they laid me off because, you know, I was the manager with the least amount of years at the restaurant, because people had been there for 20 years, 25 years. So basically they booted me to make room for them, which was unfair because you know what, we're not even gonna talk about that. So basically, after getting laid off from there, I had to look for a job again. I was looking for a job immediately because not only do I have these bills, but now I have new bills, right? Prior to getting laid off, I had already saved up enough money for a down payment on a new car. And I was looking at this BMW. Well, actually, I wasn't looking at the BMW. I was looking at a Dodge Charger. Or what I really want. If you know me, you know I love muscle cars, okay? I love sports cars, but I love muscle cars. So in my mind, when I was saving a down payment, I was looking at a Dodge Charger, right? But then when I got to the lot where the cars was, I saw this white BMW, and I remember that I've always wanted a BMW, right? And this was comfortably within my price range at the time, even with the down payment and stuff like that, because I had a job. But now I got laid off from my job. It's like, okay, now we got to start working for ourselves. Long story short, if you've seen my situation with the Uber and the identity theft and the fraud situation, I'll put the video right here. I'll put the link right here as well, just so you guys can, you know, watch it right after, because After getting laid off from my manager job, I started trying to do Uber, and I only did Uber for 3 days before some shit happened. So again, if you want to know more about the Uber situation, just click on the video and, you know, find out more. Cause okay, so now from manager to Uber, and then when that did not work, I got a job as a tutor, basically. So as I got a job as a tutor, it was really nice, but it was a seasonal job, right? So if the kids are in school, you have a job. If the kids are not in school, you don't have a job. So basically, from February all the way to maybe like June, July-ish, maybe June, yeah. But the kids were literally going back for summer, or, you know, having their summer break. So again, out of job until I started like working for myself, right? So what is the point of me saying all of these things and explaining like this journey, right? You can, one, lose your job via any means, right? You could quit, you could be laid off, you could, you know, work a seasonal job that has a time limit. For whatever reason you lost your job and became unemployed, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. I know it feels like it's not okay, and I know it feels like you're gonna blame yourself that, oh my gosh, why is this always happening to me? Like, why da, 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 da. No. It's okay. Things happen. Because when I realized that I wasn't the only one going through such similar situation, it was like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just, that's life. Life throws you curveballs. Life throws you lessons. Life throws you obstacles. Not because life hates you or wants to punish you, but because it's training you, right? And I feel like, too, another reason why I thought to make this video is because you never know why life is opening space for you. You know what I mean? I feel like working in these restaurants for so long, it never occurred to me to start my own like restaurant, like catering business, until all of these job opportunities were literally like, God literally put them out of the way. Like, God literally said, like, bro, you have learned everything you need to learn from all of these restaurants and all your experiences. It's like, don't you think you should start your own? And he was speaking through my mother. He was speaking through my mother. My mother was telling me, you have all the experience. You can run a restaurant by yourself. Why not start your own restaurant? Why not start your own catering business? And it wasn't until I went through so much like, you know, job instability that I actually realized that, hold on, I could really do this by myself, right? So the point of me saying that is that try not to look at everything a negative way, even though negative things are happening. Does that make sense? It's like, yes, you lost your job, and yes, this happened to you, yes, that happened to you, and you know, but the way you look at it is very important. It really is. So if you look at it like, oh, life is punishing me, I deserve this, and you're just like tearing yourself down because of these jobs that will fire you in an instant if you become inconvenient though. Like, girl, don't punish yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You too, niggas. Don't beat yourself up. You know, it's life. Curveballs happen. You're not dead, and you're not gonna die because you lost a job. You're not. You can find another job. Don't give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself, and do not tear yourself down for any reason. Talk more of a job that the motherfuckers don't even care about you. Hell, the chicken spot that I was working at the time as a manager, one of my co-workers from one, like literally visits to help us in this particular branch, right? He literally dropped dead from stress. I cap you not. There was something about having a co-worker literally slump down, and then the next day we find out that he's dead because of a lot of stress, because he was healthy. We didn't know about any health conditions. He was healthy, this, that, and the third, and then he just died. He slumped and he died in the hospital. And there was just something about that event that changed my mind about work so much, because why am I trying to kill myself and overwork myself for a company that literally will go back to work the next day, and the best they do is send you a couple of flowers? That's it. So why would I literally put myself through the grinder to prove that I am a valuable asset to this job. When this job, if it becomes inconvenient for them to have me, they're going to cut me off. So why would I do that? Right? Okay. So with that said, I wanted to offer some solutions that you can do aside from looking for a new job, right? If you're struggling with like bills, or you're struggling with like, any kind of like financial situation, which obviously being unemployed usually comes with struggling financially, like let's not even kid ourselves, okay? So here are a couple of things that I tried that you could try, right? So, and this is just from experience from, back when things were not like too good, like really too good, like homelessness not good, right? So if you're in the Los Angeles area, I would recommend going to somewhere like Weingard or Union Rescue Mission, or if you're a woman, like Downtown Women's Center or Midnight Mission or Salvation Army. Basically any organization that helps with like homelessness, social services, rental eviction prevention. Basically go there as soon as you can. Go there as soon as you can, my guy, because some of these organizations, they do help. They have the financial help to help you with like rent, like back rents that you owe. For example, Weingard, they literally have like resources like problem solving. They have resources like Brilliant Corners. These are all resources that help with paying off rent or / helping to pay a percentage of your rent. Therefore, the financial burden could be a little bit lighter. So like I said, try out places like Weingard. If you're in Los Angeles, I don't know about other countries or but if you're in Los Angeles, try somewhere like Weingard. Try somewhere like the Midnight Mission. And yes, these places require you to go there and sit there and wait. And when you go to these places like that, right, you need to bring certain things. So you need to bring like your lease. You need to bring like 3 of your most recent pay stubs. You need to bring your ledger to show that you've made payment. There are a lot of things that they will ask you to bring, but yeah, just know that there are places out here that help with like homelessness or social services that they can help you pay your rent or pay off some bills. Another thing I would recommend, I know I mentioned Salvation Army at the beginning, but try going to your nearest Catholic charities, right? So a place like Salvation Army, like St. Vincent Parish, what's it called? Thomas Parish. Basically, go to your nearest churches, your Catholic churches. They have charities as well. A lot of them, if you're a part of their parish, you can literally work with them and they'll be able to help you with financial needs that you may need, okay? So those are 2 things. Go look for social services or homelessness services. Look for your nearest Catholic charities or your church charities that can work. Another thing I would say is, taking advantage of all of your, what do they call them things? When you have bills, right? And then they give you extension, right? I think it's important to like speak to, maybe it's your phone, maybe it's your rent, maybe it's your car, maybe it's your insurance, maybe whatever bill that you need to be paid. I would suggest calling them ahead of time and letting them know, hey, this is the situation that is going on right now. What can we do to rectify the situation? What can we do that can, give me some sort of grace because I'm unemployed, right? So try that. And hopefully that works out for you. Hopefully they can help you with like, okay, we'll give you an extension of this. Okay, we'll do this and that, right? I was like, okay, cool. No wala. So aside from all of that, yeah, I feel like that's pretty much all I have to say. So basically, what did we learn today, kids? If you're unemployed, do not tear yourself apart. Being unemployed is traumatizing. It's a lot, especially when you've been getting a job, losing a job, getting a job, losing a job. It's very, very traumatizing. And you have valid feelings to feel like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? But 2, remember, you're not the only one this is happening to. I know a lot of people right now, especially with the financial situation, they are going through a lot. It's not just you, it's not just me, it is all of us, okay? And I'm not saying that to say, oh, let's be happy that other people are doing bad too. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that a lot of the times when you're going through something, we get so in our head that we forget that we are part of life. Like, life is not just happening to us, life is happening to everybody. We are just living our lives the best way we can, right? And a lot of people will not even tell you what they're going through because they look good on the outside. Obviously, who is going to tell you what they're going through? A lot of people are going through so much shit. Like, I'll be having conversations with people and they tell me what they're going through, and this is not me feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I'm not the only one. But it's like, bruh, when you realize some people are going through worse than you, you will start to be grateful for your own problems in some situations, right? But not to say that what you are going through is invalid. What you are going through is also very, very valid. I'm just trying to tell you that you are not alone and you are not the only one. So anytime your mind is telling you, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is life punishing me? You're not the only one. All right, so another thing I would say is basically, if you are unemployed, when you get unemployed, right? So 3, when you get unemployed, right? Or you're laid off for whatever reason, you quit this, that, and the third, and you're looking for another job, I would suggest before leaving that first job, you need to have the second job secured. That way you won't be, you know what I mean? In LA in general, you need 2 to 3 jobs in order to survive. Let's keep it 100% real, but you know, before you leave one job, make sure the other job is secured, which is something that I personally, I did, but sometimes I did not do, and I found the effects of like, oh, looking for a job, so that's why I had to thug it out with this job until I got this job secure and then transition to the other job. 4, don't feel bad when you quit on the spot. Do not feel bad. Like I said, a lot of these companies, they don't really give a fuck about you. That's the truth. They don't. If you die right now, if you drop dead today, yes, they will send you flowers, but business goes on as usual. So don't try and kill yourself or, you know, try and push yourself too much when you're getting like a job. It's like, bro, do what they paid you to do and go home. Don't take that job from that workplace home. Go home. Do what they paid you to do and then go the fuck home. All right? Don't ever stress yourself about any of these jobs. It's not worth it. Because I used to stress myself about all of my jobs, and now when I look back at all the jobs that I stressed so much about, it wasn't even worth it. It wasn't. So please don't do the same thing, okay? So where is it? 4 or 5? I don't know, 4 or 5, whichever one it is. Basically, if you're unemployed right now, aside from not tearing yourself down, I would recommend taking advantages of resources around you, like some homelessness service organizations like Weingard, Midnight Mission, the Union Mission. If you're a woman, Downtown Women's Center as well. If you're in Los Angeles, right? These are all organizations that are curated to literally help you with like any resource from work, or you know, rent or stuff like that. Another thing I would recommend is going to a work source center. Go to a work source center and they will be able to help you, especially looking for work, right? And finding opportunities, not just looking for work, but also, you know, giving you other resources to basically better your life. So those are places I would recommend. Like, go to social services organizations, go to homelessness services organization, and then go to your nearest charities like your Catholic church or your parishes, Pentecostal, whatever church it might be. There are a lot of churches like St. Vincent, St. Thomas Parish. There are so many different churches and charities out there that can help you, and I would recommend you take your time to research, because that's what I did. I literally sat down, dedicated 2 to 3 hours to finding where the money is at, where the resources are, where the help is at. So if you can do that, take time out of your day to actually sit down and just like look through all of this shit, right? And yeah, honestly, that's the best advice I can give as a big sis. So take care of yourself. Please, please, please take care of yourself. Life is not worth stressing or even crying or doing all of that. Life is worth living. Okay, so please take good care of yourself. Everything is going to be okay. I know it doesn't look like it right now, and hell, who the fuck am I to even talk? Like, the shit be going crazy around here too, but everything is going to be okay. All right? You are going to get a new job. You're going to start that business. You're going to start that venture, and you're going to be just fine. All right? All right. So, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye, bitches. See you, sons. You can only see what I see. You're just a queen, you're just the best. You're just a queen, you're just the best. You're just the king, you're just the best. You're just the king, you're just the best. You're just the best, you're just the best.